Now, 10 years ago today, the two Koreas began operation of their jointly run Kaesong Industrial Complex in the North Korean border city.
Marking the occasion, we wanted to take a look at how far the Inter-Korean Cooperation Project has come in the last decade and see what we can expect in the decade to come.
So for that, we are joined live in the studio by our very own Unification Ministry correspondent, Hwang Sung-hee. Good evening to you, Sung-hee.
Good evening, guys. The Kaesong Industrial Complex has seen significant growth over the last 10 years as one of the last remaining Inter-Korean Cooperation projects. Now let's take a look at the charts here. The business park started out in 2004 with just 15 South Korean firms. Today we have 125 South Korean companies with factories running in Kaesong. The production volume has also increased. In 2005, the annual production volume was at around $15 million, and now it's at approximately $470 million. Now, that was cut in half last year when the factories were put out of commission for 5 months. But as you can see, the complex is recovering with the production figure at well over $100 million as of March this year. Around 3,000 North Koreans worked at South Korean factories in the complex 10 years ago, and today we have some 52,000 North Korean workers employed there.
Well, Sung-hee, the complex was suspended for 5 months last year after North Korea unilaterally suspended operations amid escalating inter-Korean tensions. Now, since operations resumed, the two Koreas have been working to improve its management, but to us, it doesn't seem like it's been working very well.
That's right. They did form a joint committee on the management of the complex after the 5-month suspension as a means to prevent similar incidents from recurring again, but experts point to the root of the problem.
The two Koreas do not have a framework for ministerial-level dialogue, and almost all inter-Korean cooperation is at a standstill. On top of that, South Korea maintains its May 2010 sanctions against North Korea. These are at the root of the problems.
And of course, as May 2010 sanctions, we are talking about the economic sanctions imposed on the North by South Korea following North Korea's torpedo attack on South Korean warship Cheonan in 2010, which killed 46 South Korean sailors. Now, the Joint Management Committee met again last week, its 5th meeting in all and its first in 6 months, but they did not make any progress on key issues such as the installation of internet service and the implementation of an electronic entry system that would facilitate the commute for South Korean workers. Now, the electronic entry system has been ready for use since the beginning of this year, but the North is still mulling the idea.
It's hard to work with North Korea, that's for sure. And I understand South Korea has been working to globalize the complex. Also, that one effect that would have is to prevent North Korea from another unilateral shutdown.
Well, Daniel, the factory zone has seen a number of foreign investors visit the complex since the shutdown. In February, a Russian fisheries firm owned by a Korean-Russian consortium visited the complex and submitted a business proposal. And the next month, the Russian Minister for the Development of the Far East, Alexander Galushka, reached an agreement with North Korean Prime Minister Park Bong-ju in Pyongyang to discuss Russian investment in the complex. Then in April, around 40 German businessmen from companies like BMW and Bosch visited Kaesong. And last month, we saw 24 Norwegian businessmen and government officials make the trip there. Now, Seoul's Unification Ministry says around 20 foreign companies have shown interest in investing in the joint business park, but concerns about the stability there are holding them back.
So let me ask you, what is it about the Kaesong Industrial Complex that these businesses find so attractive?
Well, Ganyang, a South Korean businessman with factories in Kaesong told me that the average lifespan of a South Korean small and medium-sized enterprise is around 5 years, but even after 10 years, the businesses in Kaesong are flourishing. Now, the Kaesong complex offers cheap labor at a cost of around $150 a month per worker, and goods are transferred over land, which means they can be on the shelves the day they're manufactured. But there are risks as well.
The Kaesong complex is often affected by political tensions. The two Koreas must make a clear distinction between political tensions and economic cooperation so that companies in Kaesong can work freely.
Well, on the positive side, experts say that the Kaesong Industrial Complex can actually be seen as a good example of President Park Geun-hye's small steps towards reunification.
Right, Kaesong is quite unique. In most other factories, they worry about the employees putting up a bit of an uprising or expressing their frustrations. But here, it's usually the government doing that part there.
That's
well,
right.
Sung-hee, we hope you have some better news next time we have you in the studio.
I hope so too.
Thank you.
My pleasure.